Today we're gonna make chocolate chip sourdough croissant loaf with regular sourdough starter. I got this recipe from Grace Kelly Ann on TikTok. I've made it twice. It's delicious. I gifted one, we ate one. So let's make one together. I fed my starter last night around 7:40 p.m. 1 to 2. I fed 35 grams, 70 grams of flour, 70 grams of water. It's been sitting out overnight. I've already pre-measured 350 grams of room temp filtered water in my bowl. So I'm just gonna zero up my scale and get 150 grams of active starter. Okay, that's 150 grams. I'm gonna give this a mix. You don't need to have a dough whisk, but I do like it. You could do this with a fork. You could do this in your mixer if you wanted to. I really like this recipe. It worked out for me both times. She lives in Texas, and so that they have a similar climate to us in Southwest Louisiana. The only difference is today I'm going to let this completely proof, and then when I go to shape it, I'm gonna split it into 2 smaller loaves, which I haven't done yet. It makes a really, really big loaf, so I wanna gift a smaller one to one of my friends, and then the other one we'll cut and try and see how it came out. Okay, so that's a milky consistency. I'm gonna put this back on, and we need 500 grams of bread flour. I just use King Arthur's bread flour. It's what I prefer. And then we need 10 grams of salt. You're also gonna need some butter and mini chocolate chips, or whatever chocolate chips you want. She used mini, I'm gonna use mini. All right, there's our 10 grams of salt. Now we're just gonna mix this until we get a shaggy dough. I mix most of it with this, and then I wet my hands and go in and finish it with my hands and just get everything incorporated. I'm gonna go wet my hands and finish this by hand. And I'm just gonna do the same thing as my potato flake dough. I just kind of knead it till it's all incorporated. And I know all the sourdough videos say if you wet your hands, it won't stick to it. Mine always sticks to it. I don't know if it's my starter or my climate or whatever, but it is a bit messy, but it's the best way to go in and get all the flour incorporated. So I'm gonna do this until I don't see any more dry flour. Okay, this is what she's looking like. I'm going to cover it, and we'll be back in 1 hour for our first stretch and fold. All right, it has been 1 hour. We're here for our first set of stretch and folds. I'm just gonna wet my hand. We're gonna do 1 set of stretch and folds. So I did go back and re-watch Grace's video on TikTok. In the caption, she had wrote 150 grams of starter, and in the video, she said 100 grams. So the 2 times I made it, I did 150 grams of starter because that's what was in the caption. But she has since went in the comments and corrected it. So it's 100 grams of starter. That's probably why mine has taken about 8 hours to bulk ferment. So maybe next time I'll try it with just 100, but I've been doing 150. I did 150 today. So you could do whatever you want. All right, we did 1 set of stretch and folds. This is what it's looking like. I am gonna put this stick of butter in the freezer for the next set of stretch and folds. It's nothing special, it's just member mark unsalted butter. All right, it's been 30 minutes. We're back for our second round of stretch and folds. This butter has been in the freezer for the last 30 minutes, and I'm going to grate half of it. All right, that's about half of the butter. We're just going to put it over the top. I like a lot of chocolate chips. Measure with your heart. We're gonna add some, just kind of eyeball it. And then I'm gonna do the stretch and fold. right, that's what she's looking like. Now we're gonna put the butter back in the freezer for 30 more minutes, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for our third stretch and fold. All right, it's been 30 minutes. We're back for our third stretch and fold. I've already pre-shredded the other half stick of butter, so we're just gonna spread it out. Put a little bit more chocolate chips. And do our stretch and fold. Just trying to tuck this butter in. Okay, we'll be back in 30 minutes for our final stretch and fold. Okay, it's been 30 more minutes. We're back for our fourth and final stretch and fold. I'm just gonna put a little bit more chocolate chips. I'm gonna cover it back up and let it finish bulk fermenting. The last 2 times I made this, it took about 8 hours. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it till it's about double in size. All right, it's about 4 o'clock, about 30 minutes shy of 8 hours, which is about how long it took the other 2 times. We have to leave, so I'm gonna go ahead and shape it. I think it's done. It's definitely doubled in size. So I'm going to split this into 2 loaves. This is rice flour. I've put some in my Bannatynes. I'm just going to split this. Okay, so we're going to put it in like a rectangle. A little bit more chocolate chips on it. Some push and pull. I'm not gonna shape it too much because I don't want it to tear. Oh, there's a bubble. All right, I'm gonna put this. I thought I was gonna use these bigger Bannatynes, but it does look pretty small. So I'm gonna try these out. These are my new ones. All right, I'm gonna get this put in here. Stitch it up as best I can. Rice flour. Okay, I'm gonna put a shower cap on these and put them in the fridge, and we will be back in the morning to bake. Okay, these little loaves have been in the fridge all night long. I went ahead and baked this one because I wanted to check my timing for doing smaller loaves. So this is what she's looking like out of the fridge. My Dutch oven has been preheated in a 500-degree oven. The recipe says to cook it for 35 minutes at 500 and then bump it down to 450, take the lid off for 5 to 10. I did 30 minutes, 500 preheated Dutch oven, and took it out when it temped at 201. So we're gonna get my bread sling. I am not that great at scoring, and I don't usually do much scoring, but with these, with the chocolate chips, it's even harder. So I just put a little bit of rice flour, and I'm going to do one like this on the side, kind of deeper, and then just 1, 2, 3. Because of the inclusions, it's just easier. in my Dutch oven, I've learned that if I put rice on the bottom, it doesn't burn the bottom of my bread. So I do have a little layer of rice down here. You can use pie weights. Some people put a cookie sheet at the bottom of the oven, whatever you want to do. I've been using rice. I'm gonna pop this in the oven for 30 minutes. I'm gonna keep it at 500. I'm not gonna lower it and check the temperature at 30 minutes. I think it'll be between 2 and 205 or very close to being done. All right, we'll be back in 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes. We're gonna temp it and see how we're looking. All right, it's temping at 202. It seems done, but I just want it a little bit darker, so I'm gonna pop it back in the oven without the lid for 2 minutes. I'm not gonna put this stuff into bowls